And the reason why I would like to speak to everyone is basically into how we see things happening in the country, to whereby most of the times we have a situation where ladies have been deprived from their kids, and also we have a situation where grandparents have been deprived from their kids, and we have issues, for example, where we have kids that have been taken from their family after the death of, or separatism, or death of the mother, or sometimes from the father. My main issue is one of the things that I think should be part of the involvement of us looking into that as we participate on programs for women and child abuse and so forth. I briefly want to outline something that is very important. Is like, for example, let's take a person who's dating, two guys who are dating, a boy and a girl, or a man and a woman, and both of them having kids together. While they're having kids together, depending to the absence of whoever the parent is, does not make one of the parents a responsible person in terms of obtaining the child in his own decision and capacity of saying that I am the father, I'm entitled to my child, or I'm the mother, I'm entitled to the child. What normally needs to happen is there are processes that needs to be looked at. For example, if you as a man have a child with someone, and indeed you know that is your child, by us as African, there are processes to be followed to be able to have the legality of the child. Meaning, you need to meet with the family of the lady when the lady is pregnant, or after the birth of the child. You go to the family, you explain your interest surrounding the relationship you are having with the mother. Should it be a relationship between you and the mother and the child, or should it be a relationship between you and the child, or should it continue to be an ongoing relationship that you guys are having? And in case if it happened that you have a child with a lady before marriage or out of marriage, we therefore have a process where you pay damage, or you pay a fine, or whatever traditionally. That is what happened in our African culture. Now, when it comes to the issue of maybe looking into the whole aspects that we guys nowadays, we like to do things our way and what pleases us and how we think it is, it becomes a bit of a problem in the future or in the long run. A situation where you find that there is a disease in between, it becomes even more complicated. Why does it become complicated? It becomes complicated because we have a relationship that was existing, and then the relationship that is broken along the way, and then there's a child involved. So the passing on of one of the parents does not officially give the right to the next parent to say that no, he is the full custodian or have the custody of the child. Yes, it can give him the access to the child, but it's very important for us to look onto the background. In terms of the background is where it will be able to determine should that whoever the parent capable to look after the child, or should the grandparents take over and look after the child, or should any relatives of the family of the child take over and look after the child. By looking after the child does not mean you should have the child because of your financial muscles or because you think you're the best. No, is what you can provide for the person, for the child, and how are you gonna look in terms of the future for the child or for the person that you are trying to have it with you. Now, as a parent, what we normally look at, or as a father, we think we are the best person to be able to have our child in our position. Sometimes we ignore the system by saying that no, there is other people who can look after our child much better because of our timing and our involvement. As a father, the most duty is to go out, source for capital, making sure that you provide better funding for your child. But it does not give you the right and powers for you to think that you have the whole time in your hand for your child. So we guys, we sometimes tend to take advantage of females by trying to undermine them, undermine their responsibility, by thinking that because we are able to have the capital or the financial muscles, we are now in charge of such processes. Sometimes we also ignore the parents of the lady or the woman that we have a child with because we think that their families are not important. Why do we think that? It's because we think we are capable because of our financial capacity. But the reality is, we should not deviate from the reality and the truth that if you have a child with any woman and you do not follow the processes that is cultural on our black culture, it still does not give you the freedom in terms of making actual decision for the child, but you still can have access to the child because you as a parent or as a father or as a mother can have the direct access to the child. But the decisions and the final decisions will always lie with the elders, meaning with the grandfather and grandmother. That is actually the processes of us as black people. But if you are married to someone, legally married, and you had a child with that someone and there is a divorce along the way and the child stays with the mother, or in anything happen, there is no problem for the father to take the child because the process was in place. So we need to learn to differentiate between the two processes and also understand the process on its own, that it's not something that can be easily determined in court or other aspects that no, we are going to run the situation in this form because I'm capable. It's not about the capacity of a person, but it's about the responsibility and the processes in terms of how should it be done. Therefore, I advise all men and all women that are going through the same process that let us do what is right and let's do things the correct way. Let us do it in a way that it should not be about the individual itself that think he can, but should always do what is best in the best interest of the kids or the child involved into the whole process. It should never be about the father or the mother or the uncle or the grandparent. It should be always about the right and the correct interest of the child that is there to build its future and sustain the future and be able to gain out of the whole process. That is actually what I think is our discussion for the day, and I believe it's something that we can foresee and have an open topic in the future with other guys and see how can we assist each other to have such debates, because if we do not have such debates, those are things that create aggravation in the future, and those are things that can separate what is wrong and what is right and lead us into aggressiveness of such, because we do not understand the system itself. Let us take our time, let us apply our mind, let us see that we understand what we're doing, and whatever we're doing should not be about ego or achievement by proving a point, who knows better and who can gain what and who's coming from where and who's going where. But for us to do something that will give us the exact result that will equalize and put things in perspective, that a child should be the winner at the end of the day. I thank you.